Peace, family, peace, 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 peace. Okay, so I have come to the conclusion, right, that I am going to take a break, right, from social media for a little minute. But I wanted to put this out, okay. I'm gonna give you guys a story, right? And you take whatever it is that you can take from this. A few years ago, right, I had got into, eating healthier. A lot of you guys know. And I would work out and, all these different things. And I had heard about this place called Catskills. And at the time, I just was like, I can't wait to get the Catskills. It was the end result, right? And in other words, I wanted to get to Catskills. Yeah, I wanted to go. Yeah, I was going to enjoy, the experience. You out in nature, okay? It's no reception because you out in the woods and, you just connecting with Gaia. And when I say I was focused on an end result, meaning, me taking pictures, putting it on social media, like, oh, I'm at the Catskills, right? Being ecstatic about it, and seeking validation, right? From people saying, oh, wow, that's beautiful. Like, where you at? And, all these different things, right? And I was so focused, not so much on, I enjoyed the experience and, all those different things, but I was like really focused on not in the here and the now moment, but focused on like, oh, well, let me post this of these beautiful horses. And let me post this, of this eagle flying. Let me post it mainly was like, let me post this, social media gonna see it, all these different aspects. And what I started realizing is the end result. Okay. And when I say the end result, I think a lot of times we are primarily focused on the end result, right? Like, oh, I'm going to be happy once, I make this next sale. Or I'm going to be happy once, I get whatever it is. I'm going to be happy once, I get that body type. I'm a certain type of size. I'm going to be happy once I, manifest the lover that I want. I'm going to be happy once I manifest, the car. I'm going to be happy. Like we get so caught up in the end result. And the whole thing is like, I'm seeking validation because once I get there, I'm going to feel better. Right? It's like you masking the pain. Like you doing all these things is because you like, all right, well, I'm going to be happy, once that thing happened. And, so I told you guys, like, I go to these self-perfected, groups, right? Every Saturday is like a clubhouse and stuff like that. And, one of the guys, right, Jew, love Jew. And they have this, this program and stuff like that. And one of the things I told you, like, I don't want to rush it, right? Like, this is what I see. You got to take inventory of your life, right? Because you can see certain things. And what I seen in my life was every time I got caught up in listening to the outside voice, whoever it is, I don't care if you put them on if you put them on a pedestal, you think they smarter than you or whatever. Every time, because we have this innate ability within ourselves, right? Cells, cells. And our cells, they have the ability, they do the same exact thing that we do, right? Poop, communicate, whatever. And a lot of times we are listening to people because we may, think they smarter or whatever it is. And it's always this voice, this internal voice that's saying, go this way. You know, don't do that. Or what lessons are you getting from this? And every time that I had decided to do network marketing, this is, listen, I'm being very transparent with you guys. I done opened a business, right? The reason why I closed the business, well, it's still technically is open, is because it wasn't in alignment. I'm not so focused on, oh, I need money, right? I know the money is going to come. I'm not so focused, because if that was the case, I could still sell merchandise. I got the stuff in the closet. I started realizing I don't feel fulfilled. Right? And I done made a few sales, selling the merchandise, but I don't feel fulfilled. And sometimes you like, well, is it because I don't feel fulfilled, or is it because, I'm not taking a leap out on faith, or I'm not, challenging myself. I challenged myself. Okay. I opened the business and I was terrified. I went to the bank and, registered and opened an account and stuff like that. All because of the end result. Or because, it was an experience and I did want to do it. I did want to do it because it was an experience and I wanted to challenge myself. But stop feeling like, oh, well, if I don't hurry up and do it, then my life isn't going to get better. Your life is going to get better. Why? Because you want your life to be better. It's nothing externally outside that is going to make your life better. It all starts inside, internally. You decide, oh, I want my life better. And that's why I started, oh, well, I'm going to eat healthier. Am I terrified? Okay. All right. But that does not mean that you just, and the reason being is because, like I said, go back to the challenging thing, right? We constantly are evolving, right? We looking at our lives from a perspective that, oh, well, I did this and I seen experience is the best teacher. I did this. I see this don't work. Let me do something different. Let me do something else. And that's the whole thing. Start listening to yourself, cells, right? CELLS, cells more than you are listening to all these different people that's telling you, all right, well, do it this way. No, do it that way. Do it this way. Do it that. And then when you get to the end, right, you're going to see all it is, you did it for probably money. Right? Like, oh, I'm going to hurry up and do this because the end result. I said a few months ago, right? When I was reading this book, The Mystic Path, right? To Cosmic Power. One of the things that I got from that book, and listen, it was at nighttime, and I put out in the book, right? I said this after I was reading the book. I said, happiness, peace, and money. And I just put it out into the universe. And one of my things was, I want to feel so happy, so blissful. The money came last. I wasn't like, I want money. I want it is, I want clarity. I want blissfulness. I want the happiness. I want to be able to, convey, with someone else and have a intriguing conversation with them, talking about stuff that's intriguing, that's interesting, that's evolving type. I'm going to have that. Okay. And what I started seeing was that everything that we tend to go through is a lesson. Everything. It is all lessons. It's all lessons. And someone said to me, they said, yeah, well, the way you feel internally, that's basically how you attract people externally. And absolutely, it's true. It's true. But if you can't process stuff, maybe because of the stuff that you're doing, the eating and all this other stuff, the eating, the chemicals and all that other stuff, then how are you going to be able to focus or concentrate on what you do want? My whole objective is not money right now. is not money. My whole objective right now is fucking peace and happiness and blissfulness. That's my whole objective. That's it. And the same feeling that I felt when, they came and repoed my car, that I feel that same exact way. Because I've been to the drawing board so many times and I start saying, well, this shit don't work. All right. They said, go back and do Uber. I should do this. I should do this. I should get into network marketing and I should do all that. That stuff, it may be aligned for someone else, right? Maybe somebody else, that's their calling, but that's not mine. When I had my spiritual awakening and all of this stuff, it was from me changing what I was eating. And not only that, okay, because it was times, one second, it was times that I had put out in the universe that what I was doing, it didn't make sense. It seemed like something was missing. It seemed like what I was attracting, it just felt in my spirit at the time. And I couldn't convey it. I just felt like, this something don't make sense with this, working all these hours or working and, doing the same thing. It was a knowingness. It was me knowing it didn't feel right, but I couldn't articulate, like, why don't it feel right? Right? Like, I've been programmed to believe that you do this, you do that, you do that. And so, cause I couldn't articulate it, right? I kept on doing it. And then you seek, ye shall find. All those sayings, they mean something, right? Seek, ye shall find. Knock and, the doors will be opened or whatever. All those mean something. And what happened was I meditated. So people say meditation don't work. I do what works for you, but I'm not just meditating and like, oh, well, when it's going to happen, it's going to happen. And, all this other stuff. I listen to, and that's the thing. I was not listening to so much of the internal voice. I'm listening to fucking outside. And so what happened was when I meditated, okay, after I put out so many times, I can't articulate it. I don't understand. Why am I working? Why am I, chasing this illusion? I'm doing all this shopping. I'm paying this. Well, half of the times I wasn't paying it, but I'm doing all of this because I want to mask the pain. I don't want to feel the way I was feeling. But because I'm not fulfilled, because I'm chasing some, the American dream or somebody else got doggone dream, I don't feel fulfilled. And I remember like it was yesterday, me sitting on the floor and just finished meditating. And I had got the download to do the videos, to get the people out the mansion. I didn't know what the fuck that meant. I didn't know what my videos was going to be on. I didn't know. But because I was eating a certain way and I was drinking a certain way, I started getting downloads. And it wasn't downloads like, because even when I wasn't, I was getting downloads. But these downloads, they was coming more and more and more. Okay? And so what happened was I was able, it was like before I could even, how sometimes you got to think about stuff. You having brain frogs, right? You can't think straight. You like a fucking deer in headlights, right? I was able to say stuff. It was like this power that it felt so good. But because I'm getting caught up on, because this not happening quick enough, or listening to other people, you lost a lot of weight, and then I start listening to them again. I start listening to other people again. This is one thing what you have to understand. You have this innate ability. And this is what really got me into, listening to B.O.B. because when he said that, it was like truth. You can feel truth, right? I don't know. Truth, you can feel truth. You can kind of tell if, somebody really have some objective motive behind certain things, like, but you can feel truth. And one of the things when I listened to rapper B.O.B., he said, you ain't gonna need nobody outside your existence because it's your innate ability to be able to manifest the stuff that you desire. And so I still, still learning, still attending, still putting money up for seminars. Still, I'm constantly, reading the books. I'm constantly doing this. And I'm not saying it don't work, because it do work. Because it's time, when it don't work, when I start listening to other people, that's when it don't work. When I start listening to other people, when I allow people to tell me, like, oh, well, why don't you got it yet? Putting it on the time clock. Then I start thinking, oh, well, why don't I have it yet? And then I start wanting to rush the process. Oh, well, I need to hurry up and get there. Let me hurry up and do this. No, because I know what that brought. I know what that brought me when I was doing it. And so this time, I'm going to take the time out on me. I'm going to do what works for me. I'm going to do what I listen to, that innate ability that's saying, you need to do this. I'm going to listen to those aha moments. I'm going to listen to the downloads that I get. I'm going to listen to that. And although it feels a certain type of way, because it takes courage to be like, I'm not listening to them. I'm going to listen to what this universe is showing me, the messages that I'm seeing, the numbers that I'm seeing, the synchronicities that I'm seeing. I'm going to listen to that. And so it may feel a certain type of way, but that's okay. Because what you got to understand is sacrifice. It's sacrifice. Once you start doing certain things you never done before, you sacrificing, you want a better life. And so I'm not going to listen to, whatever. Yeah, you say whatever. But I have this innate ability that's telling me something different. Your spirit knows. It knows. It's done been with you through many lifetimes. It knows. And then, sometimes you got to get back to the trust thing. Not so much you don't trust people. You don't trust yourself. And that's what, like, I'm learning on this journey. Like, you got to trust yourself, Dina. You gotta trust yourself. And that's what it is. And so when I do certain things, right, it's like, nope, I'm trusting me. I'm trusting me. Whatever, And I told you guys before, if I get to a certain place and I feel like someone is like, oh, well, I don't, like, they trying to deter me from a certain route that I done got to download from source, from the universe. And they trying to tell me, well, I know this, I know I know you got that download, but no, it is this way. I will block you. I will block you. I will delete you. And that's why I don't have a lot of people around me. That's one of the reasons. Because I do understand that certain things or some people, right? Sometimes we like, well, they don't, I'm saying the same thing over and over, but it's like they not understanding. Maybe it's not that they don't understand. Maybe they not there, or maybe they didn't get that download or whatever it is. But I do believe that we all have this gift within us. I do believe that. And do you have to, do certain things? Yeah, I believe it. That's why when I have this idea of, I'm not going to do the video. Like earlier I said, I'm not going to do the video because I don't want to be seen. I do the video. Why? Because it is aligned with who I am. It's not something that I have to work so hard for. Is something that, you know, it's like, I remember I was listening to Tabitha Brown. One of the things she said was when she had her God voice, right? And we may say source, God, universe, whatever. You can't get wet from sand water. And I remember one of the things she said was, you know, she just wanted to stop hurting, suffering, like with the headaches and, you know, all these different things, the anxiety. And one of the things she said was, and that's why she turned vegan. And one of the things she said was that God was working on her. And it was times she didn't even know, you know, what videos to do when she was doing the videos. And I just was like, damn, that really hits home. Because I just told you guys, when I got the download, it wasn't like, all right, well, this is step 1, 2, 3, 4, right? It was like, do videos. And then when I did the videos on smoothies, I did the videos on stuff that I was taking, things that I was doing in the house already. That's what I was doing my videos on. And one of the things that she said, Tabitha Brown, she said that it was like God was peeling back the layers of who she thought she was. One of the things that I think about, right, is the weight loss. I do think about that because, you know, eating different, you're going to lose weight, right? So that's one of the things that I think about. I'm looking for a page. I was listening to G Bryant earlier, right? And I was in a bed, and this was like after I came from my walk. I was in a bed, and at times I don't be wanting to watch TV, right? Unless it's like something that is going to like get me thinking, right? Like a documentary or something like that. Every now and then I would watch a movie and stuff, or a series, but I haven't been watching hardly any TV lately. Well, last night I watched The Good Shepherd, but I couldn't even get into that. So I fell asleep on it twice, right? And so when I came in from going for a walk, so I got in the bed, and well, this was, I walked, I came home, I exercised, and then I got in the bed. And when I got in the bed, I was like, you know, I'm going to watch some Abraham Hicks. But then I seen the video with G Bryant. And if some of you guys don't know who G Bryant is, he's like, he do like a lot of workouts and, you know, things like that. He had did the 90-day raw fruit and fasting, right? Just fruits and vegetables, and for 90 days. And so I seen his video because I know I watched his video previously, like in the past before. And one of the things I just keep telling the universe, like, got me on this, like, got me on this, got me on this, like eating healthier, you know, doing these things, like just got me, you know, just constantly asking the universe for guidance. And I'm in a bed and I see this next video with G Bryant, and it's basically is like the 90-day is the 90-day let's see. It was like 90 days, right? Where as though he just fast. I mean, just eating fruits, like mainly fruits and like 10% or 20% vegetables. So I start watching a video, and while I'm watching the video, I get this download, go outside. Now, a part of me is like, I was just outside, right? And I'm like, why am I go outside? I just was out there. So after that, like I get back in the bed and I'm watching a video with G Bryant, like talking about, how he went through this process, like day 1, day 2, day 3. He basically was eating just because he was eating vegan stuff, but that stuff was cooked. But he said once he started doing like the raw stuff, like the fruits and the vegetables, like raw vegan diet, right? He started, experience like these withdrawal symptoms, like, he couldn't sleep, tossing and turning, not being able to think, all these different things, right? And he was like, by day 3, like he's going through it. He had like these addiction, like drug addiction, like symptoms. Like he can't sleep, he can't think straight, whatever it is. And he was like, he was doing vegan and he thought that, regular vegan, he was healthy. But once he transitioned to raw vegan, eating fruits and vegetables, he started seeing like, so I'm just going to tell you what he said. Okay, G Bryant. He was like, week 1 and 2 is a test, right? It's like the universe is basically saying, I guess, like, if you gonna stick to it, or if you gonna, or like, I guess, believe in yourself. That's what I come up with when I'm thinking about it. Believe in yourself, right? So he said week 1 and 2 is like is the test. But during that test, your skin gonna start purging. You're gonna, going through all these changes, right? And it's really the healing process. A lot of things that I may have done, like far as I always been this person when it came to working out, or even as a child. I remember, when I was a kid, probably about 5 years old, and I remember somehow or another, my father, it was discussed that it was like a marathon or something going on in Liberty State Park, right? In Jersey City, let me just say New Jersey, right? And I remember I wanted to be a part of it. Like, I remember, I was like, oh, Daddy, I want to go run. And me running and stuff as a kid. And I remember these things. So I remember it always had something to do with physical activity for me. And so me listening to, G Bryant, another thing that he brought up, he was like, every aha moment is truth. It's so funny because when I'm walking, I have these aha moments where it's like, oh, that had to happen for this to happen, right? Is synchronicities. Is the universe speaking to you? Okay. And so that went on, right? And then one of the things he also talks about was the weight loss, right? Like once you start, changing, cleansing your cells, right? And, when I heard cleaning yourself, right, I'm thinking like cleanse self, but it's really cleanse yourself, CELLS. And I had heard KRS-One say this too, like all our cells in our body, they are able to function just like we function. They communicate, they, use the bathroom, they do all the, things that we tend to do. And so, getting back to it, one of the things G Bryant was like, the stripping process. And he was like, when he started losing weight, the weight that he was losing was humbling. And also the stripping process is basically it's like you sacrificing, right? It's like you getting rid of this person that, or the person is like a metaphor to, I'm just thinking this, the person is like a metaphor to the beliefs, right? You get what I'm saying? Like this person that you showing up as, right? Sometimes you're like, well, I don't want to do this because if I do that, then who am I, right? Like, it's like you got to go back to the drawing board because now you becoming this different person. And so as I'm, listening to it, and I'm like, wow, that really makes sense, right? Like this stripping process, not wanting to do certain things because you like, well, if I do this, then how other people gonna look at me? Or, if I change so much, then who am I? Like you start asking those type of questions. And one of the things that I'm going to say is that you just gotta like have belief, like faith. I was listening to a tape the other day, right? Well, actually today. And in that tape, what it talked about was success builds confidence. And every aspect of your life, right? Now I'm talking about manifestation. Every aspect of my life, rather. What makes me confident is because I know this works. What makes me confident is not like, oh, when is it going to happen? When? I don't know when. Or what makes me confident is like, I know when I didn't have a job, I know the universe still showed up. I know I still was getting money, right? I know these things. And that's what's going to make you confident, because if you look back, in the words of Bob Proctor, well, actually, in the words of Steve Jobs, one of the things he said was when you start looking back and start seeing like the dots, so to speak. Like you could look back and you could be like, well, I remember I didn't have money for that thing, but then the money came, right? That's what I mean when I'm saying looking back. Or you could look back and be like, I remember when, such and such happened, but I still turned out good. Or I remember when, I didn't take that job and my life just got better and better, right? Because, a lot of times we get so caught up because we've been so programmed, like, oh, well, everything is based upon what you can see, right? But before you can see it, is manifesting into the spiritual realm. And once it's in the spiritual realm, then you manifest it into the physical realm. I'm still learning. Okay? So my whole thing is use discernment. Use discernment. Like, start, when people say something, You know, like don't be like, oh well, I don't that ain't gonna work. But use discernment. Like, all right, I hear what you're saying. Okay. And move according to if I'm saying move according to what their gut is telling you, what they're feeling, is saying. Like, just like I said, like truth, you can tell truth, right? Like certain things, I'm like, why did this person just come out now? Right? It's like certain things, I ask questions because it's like I want clarity. Okay? And so I start asking these questions like, well, why did this just now happen? Or why is that just now going on? Right? I start asking these questions. And that's how for me, I think that's the best way to go through life, is to start asking questions, to start questioning your reality, to start seeing like, do this make sense, or whatever it is, to do certain things, try certain things, and, see, do it work or do it not work. And for you to have that experience, like, no, I know when I listen to, when I listen to myself, I know how that feels. I know my cells is not going to lie to me. I know my spirit is not going to guide me somewhere for monetary gain. I know that. And it's like you getting back to that process, right? Like knowing, like learning, and just having faith. Like, oh, I'm gonna take the leap out on faith. I'm going to start trusting. I'm going to start trusting myself. I'm going to start listening to that gut feeling. I'm going to start believing. I'm going to start, understanding that everything is within. Everything is within. I don't need to go outside to get it. My life is not going to be better as long as I keep on putting a Band-Aid on whatever scab it is. Sometimes you got to rip the Band-Aid off. And that's my whole point right now, is for me to be in a moment where it's though happiness, bliss, peace, and then the money. That's my whole thing right now. So anything that's like, a deal far as like, oh, well, you could work here, you'll have money, right? It's like, the money is tempting, but me doing the work on myself is more fulfilling. Right? The money is tempting. It is tempting. But if I do the work on myself, then I can have way more than that. And that's what it's about. And for so long, I would do the videos and I'm like, and that's why when it would be times, it's like I get this download. Take 6 days off from social media. Take 6 days off. And I would be like, yeah, but if I take the 6 days off, I'm not going to be relevant. If I take the 6 days off, and it's like you working and working and working, but then it's an easier way. It's a faster way for you to get there. But you can't see it because you're like, well, no, you still like in this mindset, like I gotta work so hard. They telling me, put 100 and something, 200 videos out in a month. And I done it. I done did on my YouTube channel. I see 133 videos this month. Last month, 145 videos. Then a month before that, 160 videos. And then it's like, all right. I'm listening to these people. But what is Source saying? What is Source saying? What is Source telling you to do? And then you like, oh, it's not working. Why is not working? I listened, they said for me to do this. Reminds me of Eric Thomas, right? They said for me to do X, Y, and Z. And then you like, I'm still learning. And so, with that being said, I don't know what tomorrow's gonna bring. You know, at times I'm like, you know, sometimes you feel like you always gotta be doing, right? You get so caught up in this cycle, like, I gotta always do. And you're not even still. You're not still. You're not still long enough for Source to even convey a message to you, for you to receive a download. Because you always like, I gotta do it. I gotta hurry up and do it. And what I started saying was, what makes this different than you working for someone else? Like, what makes it, yeah, you passionate about it and, you know, all those things and stuff like that. But you working so hard. I had heard, I can't think of his name. Joe Dispenza. Joe Dispenza. One of the things he said was, he said, if you trust the process, why are you working so hard? Then I would get a download. Take 6 days off. Like, okay. And then in the middle of the 6 days, I would upload a video, right? Because it's like, all right, I got to upload, right? Still want to be, still want to feel, irrelevant. Still want to, seeking validation or, whatever, the dopamine from the hearts, the dopamine, all these different things that we tend to rely on for us to feel good. And it's like, now I'm to the point where it's like not relying on anything outside myself. And I don't know. And that's why, I tend to record the videos and getting back to what I said, right? Listening to people. Even then, I was like, I shouldn't upload this video because they said, don't be sharing the information if you don't know it. But then I heard them say something different, and I was like, and then I started questioning myself. I started asking myself, like, are you doing a video because you getting a download to do the video? Or are you doing a video because it's like you want to rush the process of the end result? Like, oh, once I get, once I be monetized, then, my life is going to be so good. When actually you create your life, happiness is in the here and the now. And so what I did was, all right, like for me, I could kind of tell, right? I can tell if I'm doing a video, like earlier when I was doing a video, and I was like, I really didn't want to show up, whatever, because it's like, me getting to know myself over, and I really didn't want to show up. I didn't want to be vulnerable and, all these different things. And the more I work on me, the more I realize that I don't even barely want to do the videos. It's not me not wanting to do the videos, but it's like energy, right? It's like me working more on me than me putting out content. Because if I work more on me, then it's like you could feel it in the videos. Like you can see, when I'm going for those walks and stuff like that, it's like every event, it don't have to be broadcast, so to speak. And that's like where I'm really at right now. And that's what it is. So that was like a mouthful. I hope you guys got something from this. Know that everything is within. You don't need me or, anybody outside your existence to tell you these things, because everything is within yourself. And I never want to feel like, and maybe that's where the scariness came from, because I never want to feel like, to somebody else, like, oh, well, you got the answers. I'm still learning. I'm still growing. Is a few things that I did. I seen that it didn't work. It's like trial and error. And, if you don't try certain things, how you gonna know what works and don't work? Experience is the best key. I can speak from the things that I've done. I can't speak on things that I haven't done, right? And to me, that is like, you just use your own discernment and your own judgment, and be able to listen to that voice within you. And when people try to be like, well, you done had the download, and they come and they like, well, that don't make sense. And it don't make sense to them because they didn't have that same download. Remember, your spirit is unique. It's different. It's unique. So what you are receiving, the downloads that you are receiving, is not going to be the same thing that someone else is receiving. Right? It's completely different. And people may not understand that because they're not there yet. You get what I'm saying? They may not understand it because they're not there. And sometimes you're like, well, let me just keep explaining it to them. Let me just keep on saying it. It's like, I'm going to do more than I can say. I heard Abraham Hicks say this. First of all, she said two things that resonates with me. Well, she said a whole lot of other things, but one of the things she said was, it was this guy who was talking to her, right? Abraham Hicks. And many of you guys probably know Abraham Hicks, right? Esther Hicks. She talked about the law of attraction, and how, you manifest and, each and every day, and, don't be listening to people, because it's like your spirit knows, right? Your spirit knows this stuff. And there was a guy who, was talking to him. One of the things he was talking about was, the pharmaceutical, that he worked in a pharmaceutical industry, and he was like, he wanted to hurry up and get out, all these different things. And he was like, he's selling medicine to these people. And one of the things she said was, she said, isn't it okay to meet people where they are? And she also said was, you're not going to be able to get out of it like the way you saying it, because you putting up so much resistance, right? You like, I need to get out because once I get out, I'm going to be happy. When in actuality, happiness is a choice. You choose if you want to be happy. Is a choice. And sometimes the reason why we're not happy, because it's like, we feel like our lives supposed to be way better than what they currently are. And we looking towards the end result. We like, well, once I get there, I'm going to be better. And in all actuality, is about you understanding that is the here and the now moment. And you looking back and saying, well, it's times where as though I manifested this, right? Because we manifest everything in our reality. And it's like, I manifested this, and, how did I manifest it? Right? I was calm, right? I wasn't uptight. I was relaxed. I wasn't I was, I just was calm. I was relaxed. I wasn't, keep on worrying about when is it going to happen? When is it going to happen? And that's what I look at my life now. Like every time I manifested the things that I wanted to manifest, it came from me just being relaxed, me being calm, and me eating healthier. Right. And even because I'm trying to think when we went to Atlanta. Me eating better. Because I remember on our way, I had got a burger, right? A vegan burger or whatever. But it was me doing things that were different. Right? When I was manifesting, even when I manifested $10,000, at that time I wasn't, eating healthy, but I wasn't worried. I wasn't like, when is it going to happen? When is it going to happen? So my whole thing is everything that we tend to see. And when I say I'm still learning, I'm still, it's like, you going through this and you like, well, how does one thing have to do with another? What does one thing have to do with another? And in those moments, you start asking for clarity, right? Like, how does that work? And then it's like, you get these aha moments and it's like a 360. Everything start coming together as though you can be receptive so you can understand it, an understanding that you would get, right? Because where you are. So now you can understand, oh, that's how it all works and come together and stuff like that. So that was one of the things Abraham Hicks said. The next thing she said was about listening to people, right? Experts, so to speak. And you get caught up and you're like, well, the expert told me. They said for me to do this. Or they said, I got 20 days, whatever, to live. It's not what they say. It's what you believe. Now, if you get caught up, because we've been so, you get caught up, then you believe into that. You believe what they say. And then you won't do something different because your belief or your faith, it lies within the so-called quote unquote experts. But it may be something in you that's like, well, do this. You maybe you should do that. Maybe you should eat more fruit. Maybe you should, go for a walk. Go for this. And you like, well, why would I do that when they just said, they may have told you you only got 20 days to live. So now you're depressed, right? Now there's, those thoughts come into you like, oh, well, I'm only now, I might as well not do it. But then there's an internal voice that's like, nope, go for the walk. Nope, do this, do this, do this, do this. And then you start doing it. And then you start feeling good, right? And then you like, damn, this feels good. If I got 20 days, I might as well rock out to my 20 days, right? And then before you know it, your life, it changed. And maybe when you go back, they like, oh, we can't see nothing. Or this doesn't, we don't know what happened. Whatever it is. Because it's like, you don't believe in that. You believe in something else. You believe in, like, some of the things I tell myself is, the universe would have never brought me this far. Like, that's some of the things, like, I constantly tell myself. Like, even on my walk this morning, I'm like, the universe isn't going to bring me this far. Like, because some people would be like, well, I understand you do videos, whatever, but you should do, right? And I'm like, I didn't have that download for nothing. And I don't have these synchronicities for nothing. And it's just like you standing firm on it. Like, this is it. And if you come near it or try to like say something different than what I feel and what I noticed and what the universe is showing me, I'm gonna block you. And then sometimes you're like, well, let me, I know the person is saying this, but let me try to convince them. By the time you convince them, you're not even convinced about your own damn stuff. By the time you keep on trying to explain it to them, my mother, she would constantly say to me, Dina, how did you change like this? How did you just change? And I keep on trying to explain it to her, right? Keep on trying to explain it to her. And then it was the resistance, right? Like, you don't even know if the stuff you eating, if you getting enough nutrients, right? Because it was plant-based. You don't even know if the stuff you eat and you getting enough nutrients and all this other stuff, right? And then I'm like, I disconnect. I stopped talking to my mother. Because I seen like it was constantly like, I'm doing this thing different. And I love my mother. But I love me more. And I just kept saying it was some type of disconnect. And then, like, when me and my mother started talking again, my mother, one of the things she said was, well, you still sticking to it. And she was like in shock, right? That I was still sticking to, listening to the positive motivations, all these different things, like still listening to it, still programming myself, still reconditioning my mind, right? Still doing it. And then one of the things, next minute I noticed my mother started saying, well, you go to Whole Foods, right? Let's go to Whole Foods. So what it is first, people may criticize what they don't understand. And the more they see, like, oh, damn, it's something, like, you seem happier. Like, what is it? Right? And they'll be on the sideline looking at you like, well, I don't know if that's going to last, right? What she doing? I don't know, right? And then, you may distance yourself, right? Because it's the energy, right? Like I said before, happy people don't like to be around miserable people. Miserable people don't like to be around happy people. And so, it's like the glue ones that used to keep y'all together. Maybe both of y'all was miserable. Now you start, seeking different things. Oh, this shit make me happy. Or, oh, happiness is within. I choose to be happy based upon what I have. Gratitude, appreciation, all these different things, right? And then the next minute you notice that your life is changing. And then, the people that really want change. I'm not talking about the people that just like keep on talking about it or whatever, keep saying, well, I really want change. But then, you see their life and then they doing the same thing they've been doing. And I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the people that's like, you send them something and they actually listen to it. I'm talking about those. When I would listen to Bob Proctor and he would mention a book, I would go out and buy the book. Every time I listened to Bob, I would hear him say, mention this book. When my income tax, my taxes came, I brought the books. That was the first thing I did. I invested into the knowledge. I invested into the books. I started buying the books and stuff like that because it's a frequency that you are putting out. It's a vibration that is this thing that you are putting out into the universe, letting the universe know that you're serious, right? About changing yourself. So you may hear somebody say, well, go for a walk for 10 minutes a day. And then the person would be like, well, I really want to. I think I'm going to do it. But then they don't do it. But then there's another person that's like, well, you said 10 minutes. Well, I don't know about doing the 10-minute walk, but what the hell? What do I have to lose? Is those people that's like, what the hell? What do I got to lose? And they actually do it. And so, even with my daughter, my oldest daughter, Jada, who's 17 years old, right? I know it's times like today, and I was telling her, I was like, Jada, come on, you got to get ready because I'm about to leave, right? And she was like in the hallway, putting her sweater on and stuff like that. And I want to be a demonstration for my children to know that they are able to do whatever it is that they want by me going through the process first, right? And being afraid to go through the process, but not that much fearful, not that much afraid, because I'm still showing up. I'm still doing it. And that's what I want my children to get. More than, anything that we have manifest, the house, the cars, whatever, more than any of that, I want my children to see, like, it was times my mother was vulnerable. She told me she was afraid, but she still did it. It was times my mother didn't want to go to the park, didn't want to bring us to the park, but because she wanted to challenge herself, she did it, right? She showed up, all these different things. I want my children to know that. Like, I want to be so real and very transparent with my children so they could start seeing, like, it don't make me weak if I'm afraid to do this and I still do it. It's not about, me having everything figured out. I know my mother said that several times. You don't have to have everything figured out. You don't need to know the how and, all these different things. The universe got you. Like, that's what I want to install in my kids. And that's what matters to me more than anything. And so with that being said, I love you guys. I catch you guys on the next one. I told you guys I'm taking a break. Right? And let's see. Okay? Do understand everything is within you. Everything. I don't care what the next person is saying. I don't care, it may feel like they have so much authority or they, you may put them on such a high pedestal. I don't care. Everything is within you. Everything. And you matter. Like, you really got to get there. You matter. You creating all of this. If you don't like what's showing up, you have the ability to change it. And that's all I did. I just kept listening to stuff that was going to change my thinking, right? I was listening to things that, made me start. I was just sick and tired, to be honest. I just was eager for change. If that includes me listening to, a video for the whole day, then I'm willing to do it. I'm willing to do it. And it all goes back to how, like, do you really want change? That's what it really goes back to. Do you want change? And do you believe you deserve change? That's another thing. Because, sometimes we're like, well, I really want change. But then you don't do it because maybe it's a part of you that feel like you don't deserve change. And I'm still learning. I'm still growing. And, when I do these videos, at times I'm being vulnerable, transparent with you guys and letting you guys know I don't have it all figured out. And at times I'm like, I shouldn't put that video out, the ego. And then there's another part of me that even a few days ago about the herbs. And I'm like, I don't really want to do this video. I done did so many videos about, menstrual cramps and what herbs to take. And I'm like, I really don't want to do that video. And then it was a voice. Like, what if somebody else had information and it was something that could help you? Or, something like that. And then I did the video. So is really about listening to their voice, listening to their gut. But if your gut not clear, right, then I still believe that you'll get downloads. That I still believe, but I don't know, how advanced the downloads would be, right? I still believe you could manifest, but you may be manifesting some things, and you like, because we manifesting all of this already, everything that's in our lives. But your manifestation may be like, well, I manifested this car, right? And it may be, a decent car, a good car. But then you could have manifested something that was like, that blew your mind, right? And that's really what it's about. So I'll catch you guys later. Rock out, believe in yourself, fuck with you, listen to your intuition, listen to that voice, that guidance that's telling you, certain things. If it's telling you go for that walk, go for the walk. If it's telling you, to eat this or whatever it is, it may be like, but, you may start questioning, but why? All these different things. Do it. Because you already know what you got, right? And that's what it's about. Us looking back and saying, well, I know what I got, right? I know when I did it my way, necessarily, right? The ego way or whatever. That didn't work. So let me try something different. A lot of times it's because you don't want to surrender the control. You don't want to give up the control, because to me, it's like being still attached to the identity, like the person that you think you are, and you're not that person. So, peace.